You are dialed in to the Digital to Dice podcast. And once again, thanks to Metal Church for bringing us into the show with their new song, By the Numbers. Oh, by the way, I'm Dave.
And I'm Ron. How are you?
Not too bad, Ron. We are up to episode 5 already here on the Digital Dice podcast, and somewhat of a milestone.
It is. And our first live show, too.
Yeah, we are live on Spreaker tonight. So if you're in Spreaker, I'll take a look at the chat. We can chat there. And we're actually kind of simulcasting on Ron's channel on YouTube, the Retro Sports Network channel. We had a little pregame show going on, and we're going to continue live on there as well for our show tonight. So anyway, ways to get a hold of us here on the Digital to Dice podcast. DigitalToDice.com is our website. That brings us to our Spreaker page where you can find all of our podcasts. In fact, get the Spreaker app. The Spreaker app is really cool because you can actually chat with us when we're live on a Spreaker app or just listen to your shows there as well. Ron, we're on iTunes. I think we're on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google. Anywhere you look for podcasts, we're up there now. Just look for the Digital to Dice podcast.
We are there.
We are. I'm pretty excited about that. And also the voice and text line. In fact, we had a couple of come in already. 978-751-DICE. 978-751-3423 is how you can reach the show.
And thanks for all the feedback from last week's show. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, you want to jump into that real quick right off the top?
Or you want to talk about what we're playing?
We could do either one. By the way, the name of this show is called I Did It My Way. That's the theme tonight we're going to talk about after we read the comments and get into what we're playing. And basically, this is just, I've seen some comments on YouTube and on, I call it the books and the boards, Ron, Facebook and the Delphi forums. Yes. I call them the books and the boards. And some people, talk about how they play the game and or they show off how to play the game and then so some people just like dumping all over these people for no reason at all. And it's like, this is how they play it. If you want to play it differently, that's fine. You want to play it exactly by the rules, you want to modify this, whatever. And so I just want to talk about, play the game as you want to play it. And I'll play it as I want to play it, and everybody just enjoy playing their own game. So I got a couple things I want to go over with that here. So we're going to talk about that.
Let's go through and thank the people in the comments from last week's show.
Okay, so we'll start off with the comments here. First off, Mike says, love this. Great job, guys. That was from Spreaker.com, so thanks for listening on Spreaker. PJet, also on Spreaker.com. He says, number one Seals fan here. He says he's the biggest Seals fan on the East Coast. He's actually in Long Island, and there were 2 anecdotes about him in the new book about the California Golden Seal. So, PJet, fantastic, great that you got mentioned in that book. In fact, we should have a Seals guys on here. I did interview a guy that wrote a California Seals book, Brad. I'm sorry, I forget his last name now. And I interviewed him on one of my hockey shows one time, and he was a pretty good interview about a Seals book. So we might have to get him on again.
I'll just bring my gallon and a half of Stanley Cups with me, okay?
There you go. And your VHS tapes, okay?
Fine.
Yeah. Chris says, good advice, guys. So I have so many unfinished projects, but half the fun for me is coming up with an idea and organizing and formatting them. Yep, it is. And he's got one comment, you have to evolve or die, talking about the state of cards and dice games. Just like you mentioned, the milkman. Things progress. If you don't stay up with the times, you will be left behind. To do that, you need to innovate game designs, update card designs, and add nice graphics. And you need to bring new and interesting ideas that will bring your name ahead of the companies that are not keeping up with innovations. Well put, Chris. Sporticus says, I totally agree with you. There are never too many games. I never thought twice about quick play games until I saw your videos. Now I'm really contemplating trying some out. Thank you, Sporticus. And yeah, the quick play games, again, they're quick play games. They're different than the big, long, hour-long things that you get into. They're quick play. They're designed for banging out a bunch of games or a series. They are kind of fun. Matt says, I love this concept you guys are doing. Thank you so much, Matt. There's so many topics to talk about when it comes to cards and dice. Yes, that's exactly why we started this show, Ron, right?
Absolutely.
There's so many things, people to talk to. I mean, so many things to talk about, topics to discuss. And yes, that's why we're doing it. And he says that he has a son that's playing some APA baseball with him, which is pretty cool. But he says he does play a lot of Xbox and all those other things. But he says as a 51-year-old, those games are hard to play, and he'd rather look at cards and roll the dice. And yes, I'm the same way. I'm about the same age as you, and I'm finding these games are kind of passing me by in the video games. They're gorgeous. I've been through all this, but I'm really enjoying playing the seasons I want to play with cards and dice, and I've had so much fun. I'll talk about that when I get into what we're playing. And he goes, he hopes these companies do survive. And he goes, I know I've given them a share of my money, that's for sure. And then he goes on to say, Ron, you're absolutely right about the advertising. I don't know why these companies don't advertise. The only way we really hear about them is on YouTube. And that's a compliment, for yourself there. You've done a lot of this stuff, and a lot of people in the community have done a lot of stuff with the videos, and that's really the only way you can see some of these games.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Kiwi says, hey, Dave, I love your work. I've been listening to you on the Game Hounds for a number of years now. Game Hounds is the video game podcast I've been doing for 10 years. And he says he's a huge sports fan, so he immediately followed me over here to Digital and Dice. Thank you so much. I was wondering how many Game Hound fans would actually follow me over here to the Digital and Dice show.
But it's not just one.
No, it's not. But he's the first one to write in. He goes, I particularly have enjoyed your Action PC sports golf videos so much that I'm going to pick it up and give it a go. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Kiwi.
So
and
you get the role of pusher this
I
week.
am pushing that. Yeah, I've sold a few golf games and a few courses as well. That golf game is fun. And I don't know what else to do. I chill out, and sometimes I'll stream that golf game. It is fun. Glenn says, I love these podcasts. Thank you, Glenn. Dave S. says, really enjoying the podcast. Thanks, guys. Al says, good job, gents. And ID says, listening at work, so far, so good. And then some jerk sent me some hate comments about my walking the dog video and says, what's up with the cat? So
I wonder who that was. No idea who that was. I'm going to go consult myself with my VHS, okay?
Yes, you will. So anyway, thank you for all the feedback. We really appreciate it. And we enjoy, reading them here on the show and react to them on the show and the whole bit. So thank you so much. It does give us encouragement to go on and keep doing the show as much as we can. So anyway, what do you think? You want to get to what we're playing?
Absolutely.
All right. Ron, I'll go first this week. I think it's my turn to go first.
Yeah.
I got the football bug. Okay? I have got the football bug. Yeah. I don't know. Big time football bug. You know what it is that on the books and the boards, everyone's been talking football games and asking for recommendations and what should I get and this and a whole bit. So I got the bug. And so I fired up some game-winning drive from Downey Games. And, boy, that game is just so fun. It really is. And I actually went back and watched one of my old videos because I was trying to remember how to play it. And it was like, boy, I really played a little bit different than the rules state. Not that it's vastly different, but I do a couple things different. And that kind of was another reason for today's topic. I did it my way. But I went back and I played, had so much fun. I actually played the 1980 season. I played Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Tampa Bay went up 21-0 at the half. Atlanta roared back in the second. We had a 24-24 tie in the last drive of the game, and then Tampa Bay scored a touchdown to win it. That game is fun. Drive by drive. It is so fun. And then I switched over to Momentum Football and played a game. And, boy, that's one game run that it just gives me fits trying to figure out how to play that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about that game. I just kind of struggle trying to get that game to flow. And I like it, and it's fun, but I just seem to be always looking in the rule book, double-checking every roll. It just got a couple of different wrinkles in it. It's not quite as smooth as game-winning drive. Or I should say as simple. And I'm always thinking I'm screwing up when I play Momentum Football. But I played a 1980 game between Cleveland and Houston, and it was 42-7 Cleveland. It was unbelievable. Cleveland touchdown on every roll. Houston fumbled on every roll. It was really crazy. So I played that. In fact, what I did is I timed them because people are saying, hey, how long does it take to play these games? So game-winning drive was under 15 minutes, and Momentum Football was closer to a half hour. But again, I struggle with Momentum Football, so that was kind of tough, struggling through that, but it was still fun. And then finally, I was going back and forth between I was going to get Mean Gene, right? I was going to get that Mean Gene Football because I wanted something a little bit deeper than game-winning drive and Momentum. And I ended up settling on Fast Action Football from Downey Games.
You love that game too.
And I love it. I love it, Ron. Let me tell you, I got it in, and it came with a Fast Action card helper. And I'm still new to that stuff. I still don't know what it is, right? And and it said, okay, you got to print out all the cards and cut them up. So like, okay, I'll do that, whatever. And then all of a sudden I said, what is this Excel file? And I put it in, and it's all the cards. It's all the cards in the game, and you just hit the button and flip a card because it's a fast action card game. There's no dice in this game. And I'm like, wow. And it worked really well. And you can shuffle the deck at any time. You just hit the shuffle button. So you can shuffle after every roll if you want, every flip. Holy cow, that's a game changer. I put that in because
for sure.
So Fast Action Football, you get one piece of paper, one sheet of paper is a team. You have offense and defense on that paper. And I just set up the 2 sheets of paper next to me, and I have the Excel file open, and I roll, and I was just rolling the cards or flipping the cards right there. Holy cow, that was fun! I ended up bringing in some Dave Koch football fields into Excel and creating a football and the whole bit, and I played the whole game in Excel, and it was really fun. And I don't think I've streamed it yet, but I set it all up and I played it on my desktop, and it was so fun. I played the catch, San Francisco Dallas with Dwight Clark. I played the catch. It's a play-by-play game, and I tell you, I was so immersed into this game. Every play, what do I do? Pass, run. It was great. Dallas fumbled twice in the first quarter. San Francisco went up. San Francisco actually won it 24-7. But as soon as I thought Dallas was out, they drove the field and got a touchdown. So it just felt so good, and it was really fun.
That's a nice thing about a good game is that you don't know what twists and turns it's going to take. And as you said, in that game, you thought Dallas was down and out, and they drove it down. I mean, obviously, it wasn't very close in the end, but you just never feel like you know what's coming.
No, and I kept going, let's go pass, let's mix it up with a run, then we got a penalty, and it felt like a real game. It really did. It was a lot of fun. And I didn't keep any of the stats. That's one thing I'm not doing yet. I'm just getting the final scores for these games, but some of these games you can actually do stats, so that was kind of cool. And lastly, I found... Not one, Ron. I told you about one, but I found 2 more Excel helpers. I found one for shootout hockey, and actually, no, it's not an Excel helper. It's an actual app.
Actual program.
It's an actual program. You have to put in the cards, logos yourself, and then you have to type in the rosters. Okay, but once it's in, it's in. Okay, so the game but what this game does is it puts the cards up face to face of the teams that you're playing. And all the fast action cards are in the deck into this game. So you can flip the fast action cards. And it has dice. So you can play either one or both in this game. And the cards are right there in front of you. And it has a scoreboard that you plug in your goals, your shots, and your penalties, and it shoots out a box score. It's amazing. Awesome. It's amazing. So I'll be doing a video on that coming up shortly. So, yeah, the Shootout Hockey Helper. I stumbled on this. I was like, this is so good. And then I found out somewhere in my downloads I had the game-winning Drive Helper.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and what that does is you take your season and you have all the ratings from all the teams, okay? And there's one master sheet, and you just input all the ratings, 11 to 23, 24 to 35, whatever the rolls of the dice are. You put that in for all the teams, and then you go to the game sheet, and you load the team, and it drops in all these dice rolls for you. And the only thing...
That's awesome.
Yeah, the only thing you have to do is it gives you the calculation. So let's just say it's 11 to 21 on the dice rolls. It'll tell you to add or subtract 2. Then you manually have to put that in, but it's all right there. That is going to save so much time setting up that game. So once you put in all the teams, in fact, you don't have to put in all the teams, only the ones that you're going to play. Okay.
Right.
So if you want to play a 16-game season, you look at the teams you're playing, you just fill in those, and you could actually print out those sheets or play right on the Excel right there. And I was like, wow. So
incredible.
That might be a whole nother show coming up as helpers and programs and stuff.
There's some great helpers out there.
It really is. So, that's what I've been doing. Some football, a little bit of hockey. How about yourself?
Well, let's see. I've currently got my World Series going from my 1982 Action PC baseball replay, currently tied at 2 games apiece between the Baltimore Orioles and Montreal Expos. So if you're interested in seeing that, the next live game will be sometime Friday. And I know we got a game coming Saturday in Montreal. Bring your poutine and Labatt 50. And the game that I found this week, and I'll be short with it because I want to make sure that we have time to talk about the topic at hand, is Tennis Elbow Manager 2. Now, I like tennis.
Is this a real game?
This, honest to God, it's a real game. It has nothing to do with Tennis Elbow, okay? It is a tennis game, and what it is you manage a tennis player. You coach the player, you do the business aspects for the player, and then the game plays out in a 3D engine. And I suck. But you can watch your player grow from a junior player to a Grand Slam winner. It is everything you would think that a management game should be. There's just enough input and just enough decisions and a lot of frustration. But you can watch it played out in a 3D engine. It's not the little dots. It's actually like a video game engine to watch tennis. And it's like, whoa. I mean, the game itself, you got to like tennis in order to buy it. But it's just more management games should be like that. I know OTP is a good graphics engine. I'm not dissing that at all. But more management games should be that graphically intense. It's amazing.
Oh, cool. So are we going to see that on your channel at some point?
You will see a full-fledged review on that on my channel when I don't suck so bad. But yes.
All right, so like 3-4 years from now, maybe?
Maybe by the time that version 5 comes out. No, sometime probably in September, late August, early September.
Oh, good.
So, absolutely. So those are the two things that I've been playing. I've been trying to get through the end of my replay and work on some other projects. But yeah, Tennis Elbow Manager 2 is the name of the game, and it's available on Steam, and it's no longer in early access. So,
okay,
if you like tennis games, check that one out.
Do you want to tease the next project coming up after you finish your World Series?
Well, starting Labor Day week, whatever the first Tuesday in September is, starts my 1986 NFL replay, which, if you were a subscriber to my channel or were an original subscriber, we did the 1978 season in time with the current NFL season last year, including all the way up to the Super Bowl. And so we're starting 1986 the day after Labor Day, and that lunchtime at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, will be the Cleveland Browns and the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
And so we will do 2 to 3 games a week for Tuesday, September 3rd, I'm told. So look forward to that. And that should be fun. With about 32, 34, 35 regular season games and every moment of the playoffs again. So a fun project.
Yeah, that should be good. That should be a good time. Let me see. So should we get on to the main topic?
Go right ahead.
All right, here we go.
What are we talking about today, Dave?
Today it's called I Did It My Way, and you can do it your way and any way you want it. Maybe that's a Journey song right there. I don't know. But, so, we got talking about playing the games the way you want to play it, okay? Not worrying about what people say, because like I said, I've just run into some negative feedback about, you're playing it wrong, or you messed up, or you shouldn't have taken the pitcher out, or you shouldn't have bunted, or, you can't pull, like I've seen, you can't pull the goalie with 4 minutes left, I'm not getting, because I try to do, I guess if you're playing against someone, or if you're in a league or a tournament or something like that, then you need to have some consistency. But if you're playing here on your desktop, by yourself, yeah, I'm just not understanding why you can't play it your way without someone getting upset at you. You know what I mean? And in fact, some of the developers of the games chimed in, and they're perfectly fine with some of this stuff. I know, John,
shootout games,
shootout hockey, yeah.
He says play it the way you want to play it.
Yeah, he goes, Dave, I like that you added a couple things to it, and you're having fun with my game. And he goes, that's what's important. You're having fun with my game. You made a couple of changes to it that you enjoy. Go for it, And there's a couple other people too, Craig Wessel from the baseball game we talked to. He was on there, and people was talking about how they modified a couple things in his game, and he says, "Hey, that's great." You know what I mean? If that makes it fun for you, do it. You know what I mean? And so that's my thing. It's like, what is fun for me, what makes it easier for me to play. And quite honestly, sometimes I just don't get the actual rule as it's written. You know, some of these games you get and you read the instructions and you scratch your head over and over and over. And you're like, man, I just can't figure this out. So this is what I'm going to do. And then you get someone that jumps on you, you know, or jumps on your video, or you know, on the boards and the books there. They start saying, oh, you can't do this. It's like, it's crazy why people get upset if you just playing your own game your own way. So I'm
give the example, because you had one pretty you don't give a name obviously, but you had to, you know, paraphrase what happened, because that was stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on there showing off one of the Downey games there, and here's the thing: neither Ron nor myself nor anybody in the community that I'm aware of works for any of these companies. Okay, we don't get paid by them. We don't get trained by them. Okay, we're just up here saying, hey, I found this game. I think you might like to see it being played because there's not a lot of videos on it. And I'm out there playing the game, and I got a couple people that commented, and they just went off on me about how I'm an idiot, and I don't know how to play this game, and I'm screwing it up, and I'm showing it off the wrong way, and I'm making all these mistakes, and I'm like. And I'm trying to think, like, but it was not a good discussion. It wasn't like, okay, well, what did I do wrong? Let's fix it.
It certainly wasn't polite.
No, and it was just like, if I messed up, because a couple people have pointed out, like, Dave, you're supposed to roll the dice like this. And I was like, oh, okay, I wasn't sure of that. You know what I mean? And a couple people have been good about it, and we've worked it out. It's like, okay, thanks for clarifying that. You know what I mean? Because, again, I don't work for a company. I'm not an expert. I'm just kind of showing off a game. When I find things that I find enjoyable, I like to show them off. That's what I like to do. And I get on there and I get all excited and I play the game. But sometimes, too, I make changes for a better broadcast or game presentation. Like the new football game I played, the fast action game. Okay, I think that's one of the ones that I was getting a lot of heat on. I guess you're supposed to roll the play first to determine what happened, and then roll or flip the fast action card to see which player it was. Okay? So, in other words, it's supposed to be, it was a 7-yard run, flip over the card by Franco Harris. Okay? For me, if I'm broadcasting the game, I'm going to flip over who's got the ball, because I want to say Bradshaw takes a snap and hands it off to, flip the card, Franco Harris. Franco Harris runs to the right side, 7 yards. So I did it in reverse, and I was doing it wrong, according to this guy. You know? And even going back to the day, Ron, let's go back to the day.
All right.
I'm gonna go back into the day a little bit. Okay. Sega Hockey. Okay. Sega Hockey come out on the Sega Genesis there, and I would play with all the rules on. Okay. I played offsides. I played 2-line pass. I played icing. I played penalties. I played all the rules of hockey on, okay? Because this was finally a game that had all the rules built in. And every time I played somebody, they had everything off. No icing, no offsides, no penalties. It was just wide open, crazy hockey. It wasn't hockey. And I would, all the time we'd have arguments. It's like, you have to play with the rules. Oh, no, you shouldn't have to play with the rules. So it even goes back all the way to Sega Hockey about playing the game your way. And I was just like, I want to play it my way. I don't want if I want to have rules, I do. If I don't, I don't. You know what I mean? And it's just so it goes all the way back to there. As far as playing it my way. And in fact, even some of the games. In fact, I would say a lot of the games I play, whether it's hockey or whether it's football, if you're rolling for time, and it says that the period or the quarter ended, I have an extra roll, whether it's the end of the game or not. I think that adds excitement, because there's been so many times that I've been playing, especially a hockey game, and it's tied, and I roll the dice and time expires, and I roll for that one last scoring attempt. And you don't know which team it's going to be because you're still rolling the dice. And then you get a scoring attempt. And it's like, okay, here's their chance to win the game in the final minute. And it's either a great save or a goal, and it adds excitement to the end of the game when I do that. And some people say I do it too, and other people say, no, you can't, because that's what the rules say. The rules say differently. So, again, that makes it fun for me. I've had so many fantastic finishes with that last roll. And sometimes you roll and there's no scoring chance, and other times there are. And even in the football game, the game-winning drive, someone was asking on one of the boards the other day, what happens if it's the last drive of the half or the last drive of the game and there's a fumble? Well, do you get to run the fumble back? Because technically that's considered a drive, in game-winning drive. And I said, I run that back. And it happened in one of my streams in a playoff game. It was the last drive of the half, and the team fumbled. The other team picked it up and ran it back for a score. I counted it.
It's not but football. It's not dead.
Yeah. So I that's, even though it's considered a drive, I guess, by the game rules, because if that wasn't the last drive, that would be considered the other team's drive as that touchdown. I allow that to happen. If it's the last drive of the game, if I'm playing game-winning drive, and it's the last drive of the game, and the team scores, and they get within 7 points or whatever it is, I'll allow them an onside, and I'll allow them another drive. And I know that's not how the game's playing, but you know something? That makes it fun.
Right.
It makes it real fun, okay? And the thing about all this stuff I'm doing is, whether it's, determining the play before the player before the play, adding these extra rolls, allowing these extra drives, okay? Technically, it's wrong from how the game's supposed to be played, but I do it, and you know something? I'm consistent with it. That's how I don't cheat myself, is that I'm playing the California Seals, and they were playing your Montreal Canadiens, and we had a 2-2 tie. I don't know how the hell they tied the Canadiens. It was 2-2, and I rolled the dice, and time expired, according to the rules of the game. But
I didn't refuse the Club Seals. That's
right, that's right. I, though, because of how I play it, I had the one last roll at the end of the game. Montreal got the scoring chance. Luckily, the shot didn't go in, but Montreal would have beat the Seals in the last minute. Again, I was consistent. Even though it meant a scoring chance for the other team, I stayed consistent to it. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight and get your opinion on that. And then there's also, using as-played lineups versus just playing the games.
We talked about that last night.
Yeah, between the two teams on the card, because I'm going to go in some of these football games. I played the catch, the other night there at the house. If I go back and play some of these games, or if I play a Stanley Cup Finals games, okay, I might make sure that I have the correct quarterback or the correct goaltender. But I am not going to go look up the entire lineup to make sure it's exactly the same as it is on my card.
In those other sports.
Yeah, so if I play a game, I'm just going to take the cards that are in the game, and I'm going to play the game. Like, I'm going to get 2003 for fast action football, and I'm going to play Brady Manning. Okay, I'm going to play that playoff game. I'm not going to go in to make sure that everybody on that team is listed on the card. I'm just not going to do it. I know it's Brady. I know it's Manning, and that's what I'm going to play. And if I play some Stanley Cup games, I'll try to see who started in net, but I'm not going to check to see who was traded. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to do that. I don't get that in detail yet. You know what I mean? I want to play the game, just have some fun with it,
One of our live viewers says, I had some people crucify me for playing a DH lineup against a non-DH lineup. And essentially, look, it's your game, your way, and others be whatever. And, play the games you want. You bought the game. And that's the way it should be. It's all about fun. And, one of the things, and I've gotten some of this because I play the computer games. It's harder to do that with the computer games. You can set the options up, I suppose, to be whatever it is that you want, but you don't want to confuse too many people. I had someone harass me in the middle of a stream about a way I'd played a game the day before. And, I essentially wasn't going to tolerate that with people watching. And I said, look, it's my game. It's the way I'm going to play it. And if you don't like it, don't watch if it bothers you that much. I mean, it was absurd that it ever came to that point. I mean, it's one thing when you're watching someone stream, if you're looking over someone's shoulder and go, you really think you should do that? Well, okay, that's one thing. But to sit there and berate someone because they don't think that that you are playing the way that they want to play, or they root for one thing, a certain team, is like, look, whatever. You don't do that.
Yeah, that was kind of strange, And I remember I posted on a Facebook group one time, and I said, hey, I just picked up the Dave Koch Jackson PC baseball game, and I traded Reggie Jackson for Bernie Cabo, and Reggie's on the Red Sox this season. I want to see how he does, right? Oh, my gosh. You would have think I traded Reggie Jackson in real life. There were some people that went off on me. And I'm like, this is just a what-if scenario. Just everybody just relax. I'm just having some fun here. I just got the game, and, I want to see what would happen if Reggie was on the Red Sox, And, boy, I tell you.
It didn't help.
No, in fact, I think I'm halfway through the season. We're terrible. We're second or third place. We're not that good. But it's just the idea that I think it'd be kind of funny, having Reggie come up and getting booed in New York while he's playing for the Red Sox. It made for an interesting storyline, and they had some curmudgeons that were like, that would never happen. How come you're doing this? It's like, wow. Wow. It just, so that's why I wanted to talk about doing it your way. Play the game you want to play it. Add some things, take some things out, whatever makes it fun for you. And again, the only time that would come into play is if you were playing, against or with someone. If you had a league or a tournament, then you'd have to be consistent.
Rules.
Yeah, you'd have to be consistent. You know what I mean?
Now, I'm addressing a comment that if you're listening on Spreaker, did anyone pop up on Spreaker, by the way?
Not yet. I just checked. I haven't seen anything yet.
We're talking about whether to use it in the chat. They're talking about whether to use a DH or not a DH. And in the 82 World Series, that just happened to be that in the even years, they used a DH. And in the odd years, they didn't use a DH. So because we'd gone real the rest of the way, it only made sense to use a DH. Now, if I was the commissioner, in that sense, I would go with the way that the rules would. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Go now, where you use the DH in the American League Park and the no DH in the National League Park. But that's how they did it, and so I felt that was the best way to do that. But, people forget that was the actual rule. On Spreaker, where do people find you on Spreaker?
Let's see. We are digitaltodice.com. That'll bring
take you immediately to our page on
That
Spreaker.
Goes to our Spreaker channel. Yep, and that has all the episodes there. And if you went there right now, it probably should show us as live right now. We're still kind of new on Spreaker, so I didn't know how many people would come in.
And so, yeah, it's tough, especially when you are doing things in a public domain. You're going to have that. And some of it's okay, and people get excited over the course of a game. They want to feel like they're in the chat. We, make sure that people feel involved. And that's that. And so, once in a while, there is a decision that gets influence from the crowd. I'm thinking something. Today was a good instance. We had Gary Carter come up and was a tying run, but first base was open. I don't normally like to walk the tying run, put the tying run on base, but the batter behind him is having a terrible series, and so it would have made sense to walk him, and it worked because the next batter popped out. Again, that sort of thing is fine, but from what you were talking about and what happened one night on the stream is not okay. You do not have the right to go into someone else's. If someone shares the details of a replay, whether it's on a message board or a Facebook group or on their own YouTube channel, you do not have the right to berate them because they play the way different from the way that you want them to play.
Yeah, it was all the feeling that I got, at least for my the issue that I had, was he was almost like acting like I worked for the company and I didn't know what the heck I was talking about. Okay, it's quite obvious, that I'm new to the game, and this is how I interpreted how to play it. And that's the thing, is that you can look at the rules, you can look at them, and I can look at them, and there are some things that we're going to interpret differently. So I just said, something? This is how I'm playing it. This makes for a better stream. And my goal is not to show you exactly how to play the game. My goal is just there's not a lot of videos for some of the games I'm playing. And if I can get you a feel for the game, what the game looks like, kind of how it's played, that's what all I'm doing. Is like, hey, I found a game that I'm enjoying. This is how I play it. And now I don't have all I'm not an expert at it, and I never claimed to be, but I'm just finding, geez, if you're not an expert at it, these people are calling you out, and they're telling you how, you're It's almost like false advertising. It's like, I'm not advertising this game. I'm not selling this game. I don't work for the company. You know, I found a game that it's fun. And one of the games, I think it's the Momentum Football. I guess you're supposed to roll the 4 dice all at once. And then that is the entire scenario. Again, that's one of the little things about this game that I can't figure out. There's so many little things about this game that it tells you to roll the dice and then roll it again. But no, you're not supposed to roll it again. What do you do, you know? And so I would roll the defense first, and then I would roll the offense. And then or I would roll for the time, and then I would roll again for defense and then offense. And then someone said, no, that's not how it's done. You roll once, and it's like, you know something? I need to get the time. I need A, to get the time, B, the defense, and C, the offense. I decided to roll 3 times to get that result. Is that wrong? Is it, well, it's not right by the rule book, but is that wrong? You know, I thought it made for a better stream where I rolled for the time, and then I rolled so whatever team, I have colored dice. I have a ton of colored dice, so I rolled the defense's color. So if it was, you know, the Colts, it was white and blue. And if it was, you know, the Buccaneers, it was, it was red and orange. And so I rolled different colored dice for different teams, and I thought that added to the broadcast. But some people were upset that I rolled 3 times instead of once to get the same results. And it's that kind of pettiness.
Absolutely.
You know, that kind of pettiness that does it, you know?
In the limited time that we have left on the show, this kind of goes back to what we talked about last week. We had people that when you stream and I stream, I know they're not necessarily sports fans, but I've got a 7-year-old cousin who will pop in from time to time, and my 12-year-old nephew will pop in from time to time in there. And if what they see are people pooping on each other for playing these games, that they're going to understand anyway, so they're going to be left with a negative impression. The entire thing last week was, look, you can't work against each other and expect the market to survive. And we talked about marketing and all that. But that's one of those things that if you're giving someone a 30-second introduction to sports gaming, and all they see is, what are you doing? You're doing that, and calling you, names and having to get mods involved to shut you up. What does that do for the community?
Yeah, it doesn't shine on a good light on the situation at all.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, my thing is that if I quote make a mistake, or if I'm playing it differently, mention it. And a couple people have, a couple people have made comments on the videos or sent me messages and said, yeah, I think you're supposed to do it like this. And then I would get back to them and say, okay, either I messed up, or that's how I interpreted, or no, I made that change for a certain reason. And and we talk about it. We talked about it. And then sometimes the person's like, hey, I like your reasoning for that. I might try that. Or they might say, well, like I made a modification shootout hockey, and the guy said, that's great, but if you do that, you take out all opportunities to get a rare play. And I was like, oh, you are exactly right. But that's the feedback you want. When someone says, hey, I see what you're doing here, but you can never get a rare play this way. And so what did I do? I immediately thanked him and said, and I stopped doing it that way because it made sense, But so some people have convinced me to change, and I've convinced other people to try something different. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. But it's how you approach somebody,
As someone in the live chat says, it's not their game, so they should not worry about how you roll your game. Their and your being all capitalized. Enjoy, all in caps, your game.
Yeah, and Larry, thank you so much for that. You're exactly right, and that's how it should be. I mean, I could see if somebody went on there and was just completely messing it up and cheating, and it's like, yay, the Patriots won 75-0. Yeah, then it's like, okay, but when you're just on there having some fun with it, and you're excited about a game, So
I want to talk because we only have a minute left, and or a couple minutes left.
Yeah, we got about 3 or 4 minutes left, and we got to wrap it up here in Spreaker.
We were talking about games that we play, and I want to give a shout out because our dear buddy Al Red Sox fan suggested a while ago to Glory Days Boxing. It was a brand new game on the marketplace, and if you want to watch that game being played, you can go to Bleacher Bums Gaming on YouTube or Al Red Sox fan, I mean, who's not a sub to Al Red Sox fan channel, and watch the game being played. And Al is actually kind of working on an Excel helper on it as well. Just a magnificent game, and it deserves some more love. I'm going to post this. Someone asks, can you tell Mr. Gardner who is listening on Spreaker?
Only if they're in the chat room. If somebody chats, I can see who's in there. Otherwise, I don't know if I can see how many people are listening live right now.
Okay, I was told that there was a 5-second delay between the two.
There might be between the live and the YouTube and the whole bit. There absolutely could be, yes. But we got to wrap this up in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, my hope is that about once a month or once every 6 weeks, that we do this live on the different channels and get your input on things. And so tonight we had a topic. I'm sorry.
Oh, we got a funny comment here.
I got to post that. Appa Chatter says, but without Red Sox fans, it's hard to tell when something exciting happens. So monotone.
Yeah, he is just, I tell you, he is National Public Radio, that guy.
Oh, my, yes, absolutely. So as part of, along with talking with other game creators and topics like we had the last couple of weeks, we want to make sure that we get you guys involved in the process of our live shows every once in a while. And so we certainly will do another live show. And in fact, I got a comment that you can kind of write down to talk about for a future show, because I think we're going to talk about that with our viewers after we go off live on Spreaker, is that, yes, that's definitely a thing. In my very limited experience, it seems that some sports sim rules could use plenty of editing, perhaps after plenty of blind play testing.
Yeah, no, and I agree. A lot of these games are fantastic, and just a couple of small tweaks. In fact, on one of the boards there on Delphi, myself and this gentleman named Mark were going back and forth late last night about game-winning drive, about maybe modifying the turnover rule or something like that, because it was too much of an advantage and there were too many points being scored. But it was healthy debate, and he was like, he suggested this, I suggested that, and we were like playing off each other, and that's what made it fun. We're trying to make the game a little bit more fun. So anyway, so yeah, so we're going to wrap things up here as we got a couple minutes left for Spreaker shuts us off. We got a 45-minute limit on Spreaker tonight. So anyway, let's just kick things up. We're going to fire up the music here. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in live on Spreaker or on YouTube tonight, and we're going to do more of these, so let's close this out. You've been listening to the Digital to Dice podcast. This has been episode 5. I did it my way. Ways to get a hold of us. Digitaltodice.com is our website, and our text line is 978-751-DICE, 978-751-3423. And again, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the comments. We try to read as many as we can on the show here. Thanks to the feedback. We really enjoy doing this, and all the compliments are really keeping us going here. Ron, any final words?
No, this was fun. I can't wait to do it again.
All right, cool. So we're signing off here from Studio B and Studio V. 4? Studio 4, okay. Talk to everybody later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.